So your program, Chief.
It is, and we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to review. Before we do anything, let's have a little bit of a wild card here.
Uh-oh.
I collect wrestling books. You know I have a pretty big library of books that have been published and manuscripts, all sorts of things I have here. This is under the topic of wrestling fiction. I was wondering how aware of this book you were. By the author David Morgan. Are you familiar with David Morgan?
I'm not, not familiar with David. Is he related to JP?
He is the author of The Mafia's Virgin Daughter.
Wait, now who? Wait, that took a disturbing turn toward the end of the sentence. Now what?
He is the author, David Morgan, of The Mafia's Virgin Daughter, and this is his book. This is a first printing dedicated to Naomi with Love by David Morgan, 1973. Sweet Sam, she made them all cry uncle. Everyone wanted a piece of her action. Let's see how much we can discover about this book without reading it. Just by looking at the cover. The fans crowded into the wrestling arena, screaming for Sweet Sam to scale new heights in her torrid tangles with the greatest gals in the game. The mob was hot on her gorgeous tail as a greedy goat-like godfather tried to come up with a proposition the mat champ couldn't turn down. The men lined up to get their chance to rise to her challenge as 6'4" Sam went on a no-holds-barred hunt for a man she could really look up to. Sam was a girl who had a lot going for her, and she wasn't shy about letting it all hang out. So before I go any further, and actually on the inside cover, every inch a woman. In Samantha's case, that meant an awful lot of female, for Samantha stood 6'4" in her bare feet, which was the way she liked them. In the wrestling ring, Sweet Sam always got her woman and made them love it. Outside it, she put a sensuous stranglehold on every man who saw her fabulous form, and in or out, both men and women agreed, Samantha was the champ. What are your thoughts on wrestling fiction?
Well, the wrestling fiction took a disturbing trend as well there when you, and now Mr. Morgan, what publishing house is he writing for there? Who issued this tome?
That's a good question. That's not apparent.
Is this a private public? Nobody put their name on this?
This is a Dell book. Dell.
No, what?
This is Dell.
Dell?
Dell Publishing Company, United States of America.
Dell Publishing Company, and for the kids who haven't ever read, Dell Publishing Company, besides the fact they did mainstream paperbacks for years and years, were on the racks in all the stores. Dell even had a comic book branch, and many of the Disney and cartoon characters, like the Walter Lantz characters, and how many of them I'm thinking of, were Dell published comic books of those for children as young as a wee little two. And meanwhile, they're putting out Samantha's fucking leg scissoring and clam slamming all of her opposition on this, what do they call it? White label production, possibly?
And this is 1973, and there's a picture of a woman, an actress, obviously, or someone they hired to play the role of Sam on the cover here, making a wrestling position. I don't know what you would call this exactly, but
does she look 6'4"?
She has long legs, but you can only see them until the knees, and then it cuts off.
Do they reach all the way to the ground? Or you can't tell?
You can't tell. Yeah. Well, I don't know if the book was based on this woman. I don't know if they hired a woman to play Sweet Sam.
Well, no, I think this is probably a artist rendering, model's representation of the Sam who was in the mind of the author for whatever reason. And I'm sure it had a lot of space to occupy up there. But Dell Publishing.
Let me see. I'm just opening up a random.
Are there pictures?
There's no pictures. It's a
no
paperback here.
A paperback can have pictures.
I think Mo Joe Quinn Oh, Mo John Quill, excuse me.
But wait, Mojo Quinn. I thought he was a fucking soul singer.
Mo John Quill is the promoter. Mo John Quill lifted his hat slightly, ran his hand quickly over his head, and replaced the hat before Samantha could see what, if anything, was under it. The thought went through her head that whatever those two muggers had been after was something Mr. John Quill kept under his hat. It wasn't until later that she thought about it again and was aware of the pun. "Oh, I get you now," Mo John Quill said with an enlightened expression on his face. "Deceit and trickery, right? Trickery and deceit, right?" He was stalling, desperately trying to figure out what this babe wanted from him. Having other worries, he would say whatever she wanted to hear. But what? Just to get her off his back. So she saved him from being mugged, it sounds like, and now he doesn't know who she is. She was offering no help to him. She just sat, green eyes smoldering, not explaining or amplifying her complaints, leaving him to work it all out for himself. Well, here goes nothing, he thought, and he said, "Now let me see if we're playing in the same ballpark, right? You're saying, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, right?
What the hell?
That you are not in favor of trickery and deceit." He paused, and even though he didn't end his sentence with the usual question, Samantha nodded once. Her brilliant hair swung down across her peach cheeks and back again.
What about her ample bosoms?
"At least I'm on the right track," Mo John Quill thought, and continued. "Now I'm going to explain something to you, right? So I want you to listen carefully, right?
Right?
Now get set. Listening? Here it comes." Mo John Quill would have been a great actor. He really appreciated the drama of the situation and knew how to build to a climax. Samantha was on the edge of her chair. The wind is whirling behind me, Jesus. "Okay, Sam, you asked for it." He was getting carried away himself. He took the cigar out of his mouth and pointed it at the wide-eyed girl like a gun. "Wrestling is not a sport." He replaced the cigar where it belonged and puffed 3 times, waiting for the excitement to die down. The fact that Samantha was not excited did not dismay him unduly. "Wrestling is not a sport, right? It's a business and it's entertainment and nothing else." I'll stop there so I don't end up reading the whole thing, but it appears that Vince McMahon may have based a lot of his life on the promoter Mo John
How do you
Quill.
spell that now? Is that like 3 names like John Wayne Gacy, Mo John Quill, or is it John Quill like NyQuil?
It's Mo is one word, M-O-E, as in Mo Howard, I guess. And
Yeah,
John Quill was J-O-N-Q-U-I-L.
That's an odd fucking name to make up, isn't it?
It is. He must know someone trying to get revenge on his friend John Quill. But this is from the book Sweet Sam, from my wrestling library here by David Morgan.
Is that available on Amazon?
I don't know. Once again, David Morgan, author of The Mafia's Virgin Daughter, which must have been such a hit that Dell said, "Put that on the cover. We want them to know it's David. That this David, not some other David." Well, there it is, the story of Sweet Sam.
Yes.